Hi, my name's Eric, welcome back to my channel. Let's talk once again about Madonna. Today, as many of you have requested, I'm going to react to her 1994 album Bedtime Stories and break down the album's lyrics. Before I dive in, let me know in the comments down below what Madonna album I should react to next. Check the description box for a link to a list of nonprofits you can donate to. Please subscribe to be here when I post new videos every week, and hit the bell icon to be notified when my videos go live. Without further ado, track number 1 is Survival. Okay, R&B, cool. Wow, the style really surprisingly fits her voice. Okay, we've got a nice little fade out there. I know a few of you mentioned in the comments that this album was more R&B leaning. I thought it would incorporate more like trip hop like some of her other albums, but this really fully leans into 90s R&B, and I'm very pleasantly surprised at how well suited her voice is to this style. It's very light and smooth and airy, which is a very nice change from Erotica. As I've mentioned a good number of times before, the opening track of a pop album tends to be pretty general and is just meant to introduce a set of themes and to set the tone, and in line with that, this track is pretty lyrically vague. We have the trademark Madonna religion motif with heaven and hell, angels and saints, and Madonna says that she doesn't just fit in one category in these dichotomies, and she's been too busy just surviving to figure out what one thinks she is. She's talked a lot on other albums about the risks involved in pursuing celebrity, and here on the first pre-chorus she says, "Here's my story, no risk, no glory." She set up a similar risk-reward idea on a few songs from Confessions, and here she alludes to her public image on the second pre-chorus when she asks, "Does your criticism have you caught up in what you cannot see?" To me, it feels like she's carrying over the idea of judgment from like a prayer, here the parallel being between God's judgment and the public's judgment. Track number 2 is Secret.
Things haven't been the same since you came into my life. Happiness lies in your own hand till you share your secret with me. Something's coming over me. My baby's got a secret.
Oh, interesting, okay.
It helped me find the reason why. It took me by surprise that you understood. Till I learned to love myself, I was never loving anybody else. Something's coming over. My baby's got a secret.
Cool, okay. So it's really interesting to hear how much of a time capsule these songs are. Not that they sound dated, but they sound very, very 90s R&B. So the song lyrically is about her partner having a secret, and it sort of sounds like a double-edged sword, but what she's really saying is this partner holds the key to her happiness and fulfillment. A key moment is on the second verse when she says, "You gave me back the paradise that I thought I lost for good." Paradise tends to be another word for heaven, and it often indicates escape, so what she's saying is that on Survival, she had trouble finding this heaven, this ideal place where she felt fulfilled and happy and calm because she was always struggling with her celebrity status, but this partner helped her find that heaven, helped her find that escape. And this also might connect to her two prior albums, Like a Prayer and Erotica, because as some of you explained to me, Like a Prayer ends with Madonna not being able to get into heaven, and then Erotica centered around Madonna as this bad girl character. And as we know, Erotica was a tough time for her public image, so this moment is like the redemption of her soul, her peace of mind, and her reputation. Track number 3 is I'd Rather Be Your Lover. Okay, this to me leans more towards the trip hop of erotica.
Could be your sister, could be your mother, rather be your lover. That's right, I'd rather be your lover. I never ever make any plans with you. The only thing I know is I dream of you. My head, happiness lies in the palm of your hand.
Hmm. That's a tough position to be in.
I'd rather be your lover. But wouldn't it be better if I gave you up?
Okay. She's overly dependent, maybe?
Are you surprised?
Oh, okay. A rap feature.
Can't you see? I need you beside me. Don't you see? I want you to want me. I'd rather be your lover. Are you surprised? Are you?
Okay, cool. So on this song, Madonna connects to the last song when she says that her happiness is in the palm of her lover's hand. And as we know, I'm a broken record, whenever there's that level of dependency, there's a power imbalance. And that's why Madonna spends most of the song basically begging for this partner's affection. She says on the first verse, I don't know where I stand with you, I never ever make any plans with you. This person's just dangling the carrot and stringing her along. I feel like the chorus, looking at it through the lens of her public image, might be about the dichotomy between her being a mother and her being sexually forward in her music. She says, I could be your mother, we could be friends, and so on, and then she says, but I'd rather be your lover. This person, or maybe even people in general, want her to perform a different, more domestic type of femininity, and she wants to reject that. That could also point to a possible double entendre in the title of this album, you know, like putting your child to bed or going to bed with a lover. So even if this song in particular isn't explicitly related to her public image, she still has this ongoing preoccupation with not meeting people's expectations of her. Track number 4 is Don't Stop.
Get up on the dance floor, everything is grooving. To see you moving, let the music shake you. Don't stop doing what you're doing, baby. Don't stop. Keep moving, keep grooving. Join the party, let the bassline on you. Bring your body over. Stop doing what you're doing, baby. Don't stop.
So this song lyrically is very straightforward. She's just saying, give yourself over to the music, just enjoy it and dance. I see how this could fit into an arc about enticement or persuasion because on the last track, she was trying to convince her partner of her worthiness, and the mode that she's in here is somewhat similar with her telling them or us to dance. In general, though, stylistically, this album is kind of similar to erotica in that it has a sort of chill vibe and is dance oriented and has trip hop influences, but it sort of pulls back even from some of the chillness of erotica. There's less dance influence here, and it's a lot warmer, definitely predominantly R&B. So the album sort of feels like a transitional point between erotica and Ray of Light because both of those albums definitely push the envelope more and have more provocative ideas, but you can definitely see her evolving skepticism about her celebrity status and her growing interest in her family life. So it'll be interesting to see where she takes it from here. Track number 5 is Inside of Me.
I can't stop thinking of you. The things we used to do. This holiday isn't going anywhere. In the public eye, I act like I don't care. I'm crying. I'll always have you inside of me. Love inside of me. I can't picture you.
It's very interesting how chameleonic her voice is here.
And when I wake up scared, I know I'll find you there, watching over me. Let's together, love
Hmm. I thought I heard something at the end there. Gonna check. Okay, yeah, so off camera, I just looked, and initially the song sounded like it was just a breakup song, but then she started incorporating this language that we would associate with like a love song for someone who's died, but then there are conflicting transcriptions, but it does sound like at the end there, she says mom. So I thought that this would just be a continuation of I'd Rather Be Your Lover, and it would be about the same person and maybe their relationship falling apart, but it actually makes a lot of sense for it to be about her mother. This also makes the sequencing make more sense because it's not all that common that we would get a seductive dance song followed immediately by a breakup song. And part of that is because this song is generally more optimistic than your typical breakup song. She explicitly brings up her public image before the chorus when she says, "In the public eye, I act like I don't care. When there's no one watching me, I'm crying." So again, even if this album isn't that explicitly about her public image, it still regularly creeps into her mind, even on songs that otherwise have little to do with her public life. Track number 6 is Human Nature. She's doing a bunch of fun vocal modifications. Oh, there it is. I like the sarcasm. Okay, so this is definitely the clearest song about her critics. She opens with a callback to express yourself from like a prayer, and then launches into this retort against her detractors in the wake of erotica. And the sarcasm on the song is great. On the pre-chorus, she says, "Oops, I didn't know I couldn't talk about sex." And then on the chorus, she says, "I'm not sorry, it's human nature." She's saying, why the stigma? This is natural, don't be weird. Again, it's all pretty straightforward. She is asserting herself against her critics, and in doing so, she's making further efforts to destigmatize these types of conversations. Track number 7 is Forbidden Love, which apparently is different from the Forbidden Love that appears on Confessions. Okay, she's whispering in the background there. So Madonna extends the idea of stigma from human nature by opening the song whispering about love without guilt and love without doubt. Even the production of the song performs repression because we have the soft sounds of good love muffled and obscured. And then on the chorus she says, "In your kiss, forbidden love, if I had one wish, love would feel like this." This love feels good, so wouldn't it be weird for her to wish for something that she's already experiencing? But I think she's saying that so much love that she's experienced or that people in general experience is repressive or shameful that this type of good love is forbidden or aspirational. Track number 8 is Love Tried to Welcome Me. We're 3 for 3 on romantic staples: strings, Spanish guitar, and chimes. So Madonna has brought back that religious language, but what's interesting is that the context of the song seems to reverse the expected meaning of that language. On the chorus, she says, "Love tried to welcome me, but my soul drew back. Guilty of lust and sin, love tried to take me in." In a purely religious context, this would mean God's love, and so we would have this scenario of like a person being born again, like living a life of indulgence and sin and then returning to the path that religion dictates. But on the last couple tracks, Madonna has set up love not to mean religious devotion, but intimacy that's free of shame and stigma. So the meaning has flipped, and ultimately it feels like what Madonna is saying is that clinging to these antiquated repressive notions of sin makes love ungodly in the sense of unfulfilling. Track number 9 is Sanctuary.
It's here in your arms. I want to be buried. You are my sanctuary. Holy the sun when the rain's so full of light. You are my sanctuary. Who needs the light with the darkness in your eyes? It's here in your soul. I want to be married. My sanctuary. And darkness was upon the face of the earth.
I really enjoyed the production on that track, and lyrically, it seems to pick up on some of the themes of the opener. On Survival, she kept saying how she wasn't just one thing, like a devil or an angel, and that related to her not meeting people's expectations of her. Here, she does a similar thing with opposites on the chorus when she says, "Who needs the sun when the rain's so full of life? Who needs the sky? It's here in your arms, I want to be buried." And likewise, on the first verse, she says, "Who needs a smile when a tear's so full of love? Who needs a home with the stars up above?" And of course, she concludes each time saying, "You are my sanctuary." The impression I get is that she doesn't want to take the easy road, and she'll go through anything if it's with this person's love. She talked before and on other albums about taking big risks in her life, and I think there's a similar philosophy underlying this song as well. She's saying the sunshine and the comfort of home sound nice, but I don't need easy, simple pleasures if I have you. Track number 10 is Bedtime Story, which happens to be co-written by Björk.
Today is the last day that I'm using words. Let's get unconscious, honey.
Definitely sounds like debut era Björk.
Today is the last day that I'm using words. Must have meaning. Don't function anymore. To the unconsciousness, leaving logic and reason. Let's get unconscious, honey. Let's get unconscious. I'll never explain again.
Cool. Okay, so even though Madonna didn't write this song, it definitely connects thematically to other songs like Human Nature. Because the song is all about letting instinct take over and not letting your head get in the way of your heart. So when she repeats "let's get unconscious," it feels like a pun. She's saying, let's sleep together, but also embrace your instincts. Björk describes love in a similar way on her album Vespertine, specifically on the song Cocoon, where she talks about slipping in and out of sleep. So this is like the final step in Madonna stripping away everything that isn't love. She's shaken her critics and antiquated notions of morality, and now even her conscious mind, and is just letting love take over. The final track, track number 11, is Take a Bow.
Take a bow, the night is over. There's no one here. Say your lines, but do you feel them? I've always been in love with you. You took my love for granted. Why, oh why? Say goodbye.
And that is how the album ends. As usual, a preoccupation with celebrity and publicity has gotten in the way. Her partner was in it for the act. They were a performer publicly and privately. So of course that means that they just weren't authentic with Madonna. So on a meta level, this is her ending her own performance of the album, and within the story, it's her telling this partner to drop the act and stop stringing her along. So after we've experienced this moment of total openness and vulnerability, her public life comes back in to mess things up. Overall, this definitely isn't her most musically provocative or lyrically complex album, but it's a pleasure to listen to all the way through. So while Bedtime Stories might not attract the same excitement as her more crowd-pleasing albums like Confessions or Like a Prayer, or her more conceptual albums like Erotica or Ray of Light, this is a sumptuous, warm, and enticing listen, and I really enjoyed listening to it, so thank you to all of you who recommended that I listen to this album. As always, let me know in the comments down below what Madonna album I should react to next, and what other topics you'd like to see me cover on my channel. Check the description for that donation link. Please subscribe to be here when I post new videos every week. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you are staying safe and healthy, and until next time, that's it.